Oh, right. Nev Almond, hands up who knows him. Oh, I know him, he's been flying hang gliders since 1979, so he's got more hours than God knows what. He was one of the pioneers of Kobos, or the using a Kobo as a flight instrument. I think they've been used for about 2 years now. There was a Facebook page which was set up by Gordon Rigg, which was called Freetards, but I think it's been changed now to something a bit more appropriate. I think it's called Soar Kobo now, and that's how I kind of came to know about Nev, and he has been one of the earliest pioneers. So what Nev doesn't know ain't worth knowing at this stage. So big thanks to Nev. He's come a long way. I know he's going up to the lake. He's on his way to the lakes. So it's quite fortunate for us to have him actually do a talk. So yeah. Nev.
Cheers, yeah. Right, the good news is that I think most of you are probably going to be pleased about this. This isn't going to be a techie talk with lots of button pushing. It's really about the key functional things that we can do with Kobos. There won't be a lot of that because it's a fairly simple instrument. Mix of different instruments you can put with it, but the thrust of the talk is all about Soar, which is the thing that really makes it work. And it's probably what most of us come up against in terms of there's this massive thing called Soar. It's a bit like trying to dive into Windows for the first time. So much there. There is a lot you can use it for, but there's only actually 10% of it that would give you just about everything you need. So it's just finding that 10% and making good use of it. That's a useful thing to do. So just drop down to the first menu. This is what I was going to cover tonight, just a quick introduction. So, why is it so useful? 10 minutes just going through the hardware. So we'll open up the covers of a few Kobos so you can see what's inside. It looks complicated, but it's actually fairly straightforward. 10 minutes on building a unit for anybody that's interested, just going through what it entails and a few of the pitfalls and things to look out for. And then most of it will be Soar itself, so a quick introduction there. 15 minutes on maps, airspace and waypoints, because that's usually the regular question that comes up. How do I get airspace in there? How do I get NOTAMs? What about waypoints? And then the main bit of it, the last bit, 30 minutes of using it, which is a quick 5 minutes of the main things you need to consider during the setup. I mean, there's loads, but I'm talking about the key sort of 10 or 12 points. And then we'll switch to Soar itself, and we can go through a track log that's currently playing and pausing in the background, so we can talk through the real screen and see it in use. But if anybody's got any questions, just dip in as and when, and we're asked them. Rather not have all the I can't find this button, I can't find that button, personal questions. You can deal with that in a break in the middle or whatever. But yeah, you need to keep it sort of quite generalistic. Right, making a start. Right, why the Kobo and Soar? I mean, there's lots of great products out there. I mean, we've got the Odie, the Flytech 6030, but as most of us are probably aware, usually quite expensive. I mean the 6030 was going up to £900 at one point. All the prices, funny enough, do seem to be dropping down a bit. I can't imagine why. But the big thing, I mean, readability. I mean, the readability of some of these devices. I mean, conventional screens, as we all know, stick them in the sun, and you're losing half of the luminosity. Quite a lot of the screens, even the 6030, you've got, what is it, about 2 inches by 2 inches. So that's not a lot of information to put your airspace on. Another area where the Kobo is good. Kobo Soar, I mean, it's a fantastically inexpensive, it is a computer. It's not just a little bit of kit that runs a few little bits of hardware settings. I mean, there's actually an operating system underneath. It is like a laptop from about 8 to 10 years ago. And you're getting that for 60 quid together with touchscreen technology that you can use with your gloves. I mean, it's perfect for our needs. But the biggest thing, of course, for all of you that have seen it, is the excellent screen clarity. Before I go any further, how many people here use a Kobo? So How many people here don't use a Kobo? All right, so we're talking, so it's a fairly low number. And how many people use Soar not on a Kobo, like on a tablet or so? Okay, so we got a mix of where it's running. Coupled with the Kobo, I mean, we've got these really inexpensive instruments. We've got the make sure I don't blind you with this. I'm terrible for doing that. I mean, 2 years ago when this all kicked off, we all started adding just the raw GPS chips. GPS chip costs £15. I mean, that's sorting out all the connectivity and sending you all the information of what's going on. I mean, isn't that amazing? And it shows you how cheap. I mean, the barometer that often goes with this, the piece of electronics, that costs about £5. You know, we shouldn't be spending vast amounts of money on this. Al Dickey out in Australia, he's put together the combined Vario and GPS, £50. And he was talking about potentially dropping the price the other day. And I said, no, you shouldn't do that. You should use it to, you know, build the business and carry on. But sitting behind it all, what really makes it happen is Soar. I mean, it must be so difficult for the manufacturers trying to keep pace with such a massive software program that's so complex. Here we've got a group of, I don't know how many people, at a guess, it's upwards of 30, 40 contributors who are all diving in there and contributing to this open source project for free. And they're enthusiasts, so we haven't got people just tinkering for the hell of it. You know, we've got people that are there because they enjoy doing it, which is always really good. But the key thing here, I mean, what this has given us, we've got separation of the hardware and the software and the instrument. This is a bit like IT in the 80s, how it changed from the big corporates like IBM, who used to dominate and set the price for whatever, moving to all the small laptops and distributed processing, where it's now in the hands of the consumer again. So all of a sudden, we've got separation of these three areas, a lot more competition, and the price has come right down for something that's incredibly powerful. So that's my view of why we're there. And my experience, I mean, if you go back 2.5 years ago, I was still using a Garmin 12, which for those of you that know it, it's the first GPS from Garmin, like mid-90s, I think, 96, 97, something like that. And I was still using an airspace map, a paper map, because I hadn't yet seen a good display that I thought is worth spending that sort of money from. And I saw a photograph of the Kobo. I mean, I had a good friend who'd been banging on about these for ages, but it was just techno wobble. But I then saw this picture and the clarity was great. I went outside and looked at it in sunlight, and I was giggling on my first flight, which was just the unbelievable clarity and simplicity of this unit. So lots of good reasons there for using the Kobo and Soar.